Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to Sky Sports, Everton are in talks with Manchester United over a loan move for Donny van de Beek before the transfer window closes on Monday. Crystal Palace are still pushing for the midfielder. Manchester United are open to loaning Donny van de Beek out, providing that there's a loan fee and Donny van de Beek's wages are paid in full. Any loan move will not include an option to buy, as Manchester United intend to keep Donny van de Beek for next season. It said yesterday 3 clubs agreed loan terms to sign Donny van de Beek. One of those clubs was Crystal Palace. The other 2 clubs didn't get named. Revert back to earlier on this season, it said Donny van de Beek was not allowed to leave Manchester United. Donny van de Beek did have a bust-up with his agent. Van de Beek has not been given enough opportunities under Ralf Rangnick, and he didn't get enough opportunities under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Van de Beek's only scored 2 goals for the club. He's been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years. Manchester United got Van de Beek from Ajax. We got him for 40 million with add-ons included. Manchester United paid 35 million up front. There was 5 million in add-ons. He's under contract with the club until 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Now, River Plate are considering a transfer for Edison Cavani to replace Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez is set to join Manchester City in a £22.5 million deal. Julian Alvarez will be on loan with River Plate until the end of the season. Cavani, he will leave Manchester United in the summer because revert back to earlier on this season, Ralf Rangnick said that Cavani wants to stay at Manchester United until the end of the season. Cavani's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Last year, Cavani was linked with Barcelona. It said last year that Cavani agreed to join Barcelona on an 18-month contract. Barcelona were seeing him as a replacement for Aguero because Aguero retired due to heart problems. Juventus went in for him, and last year Cavani rejected a move to Boca Juniors. Cavani came on in the game against West Ham the other week, and he got the assist for Marcus Rashford's winning goal. A lot of people did say that Cavani was offside. Cavani had a minor injury not so long ago, and he had a couple of injuries earlier on in the season. Quite a lot of players are going to depart Manchester United this year, but most of Manchester United's outgoings will be in the summer. Maybe 1 or 2 more will leave the club before the transfer window closes on Monday. Juan Mata, he will leave the club. Juan Mata's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Revert back to last year. Manchester United extended Juan Mata's contract for another year. Juan Mata lost his place in the team a while ago, and he's ageing up and he's lost that yard of pace, but despite that he's had a good career at Manchester United. Matt has made 276 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 51 goals. He's been at Manchester United for 8 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. Manchester United got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014. Manchester United paid 37.1 million. Revert back to 2020, Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Jesse Lingard, yeah, he'll leave the club this year, but it's likely now Man United will have to wait until the summer to offload him, because Jesse Lingard to Newcastle is off because of Manchester United's demands. It said Manchester United were demanding a 15 million loan fee, and he said Lingard was keen on a loan move to Newcastle, but revert back to earlier on this month, it said Man United would prefer to let Lingard leave permanently. Not so long ago, Ralph Rangnick confirmed on TikTok that Lingard will leave Man United in the summer. Rangnick had a conversation with a fan. Lingard rejected an approach from Everton, and West Ham want to re-sign Lingard. The second half of last season, Lingard enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Lingard doesn't get in our team, but he has been part of the football club for a long time. He came up our academy. Lingard's out of contract at Manchester United in the summer. Matic, I think he's also going to depart the club this year. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. Matic is only the predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got. I've always had my reservations about Matic because he's always been a static midfielder, but despite that, he's had his good games at Manchester United. Matic is out of contract in the summer. Manchester United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017. Manchester United paid £40 million. I initially thought Paul Pogba was going to be leaving in the summer, but now there's been a U-turn, like I updated you yesterday. It said Paul Pogba is willing to stay at Manchester United as long as Ralph Rangnick is the manager. Pogba has been impressed with Ralph Rangnick since his arrival. Paul Pogba is open to signing a new contract. Pogba's out of contract at Man United in the summer. Revert back to the other month, the Sun said that Manchester United offered Paul Pogba a new £500,000 a week contract. That would have made Pogba the highest paid player in Premier League history, but actually Pogba came out and denied that he'd been offered that contract. Revert back to earlier on this season, it said Paul Pogba apparently told Manchester United that he wants to join Real Madrid in the summer. There again, it said PSG was the most likely destination for Pogba, as Pogba did hold talks with PSG. Pogba's set to return to action after this international break. Rangnick confirmed that earlier on this season. Pogba was out with injury for a while. This season is Paul Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. He's played 212 times and he's scored 38 times, and Manchester United paid 89 million for Pogba, so reflecting on that, is our most expensive signing at the moment. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. You know the news on Phil Jones. Phil Jones is set to join Bordeaux on loan until the end of the season. Talks with Phil Jones are at final stages. Jones has been a very long-serving player at Manchester United. You know, this season is his 11th season at the club. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. Did you know he's the only outfield player that's still at Man United since the Ferguson era? At one point, Jones was out with a knee injury for a while. Jones' contract at Manchester United expires next year. He has made over 200 appearances in all competitions. Jones played in the 1-0 defeat to Wolves at Old Trafford earlier on this season. And Jones was our best player in that game. And it was his first Premier League appearance since January 2020. Beek, he'll also leave the club as well this year. Do you think Tellez could leave this year? Reports from Spain said the other week that Man United will look to sell Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the summer, because quite clearly that duo are not good enough to represent the club. Man United will look to get rid of Dean Henderson permanently. Manchester United have loaned a few players out in this January transfer window. We recently loaned Amad Diallo out to Rangers until the end of the season without a buy option. Man United made the right decision loaning Amad Diallo out, because he'll gain more experience and he'll get a lot more opportunities. By the way, Amad Diallo scored on his Rangers debut recently. Manchester United loaned Anthony Martial out to Sevilla until the end of the season. Sevilla didn't pay a loan fee and there's no option to buy. But Sevilla are paying Anthony Martial's wages until June. Manchester United, I think, also loaned Ethan Laird out as well. Will Manchester United make a signing before the transfer window closes tomorrow? Now, Ralf Rangnick desperately wants a midfield signing. You know, Rangnick identified Manchester United's midfield as a weakness when he first came in. Now, Man United have obviously been linked with Ruben Neves from Wolves. Wolves want between 40 to 45 million pounds if they are to consider selling Ruben Neves. Manchester United hoped that a bid of 35 million pounds would have been enough to convince Wolves to offload him. Arsenal are also linked with him. Arsenal have held talks. I'd take Ruben Neves at Manchester United in a heartbeat. You know, Ruben Neves has been an absolute revelation for Wolves. He's still young and he's well proven in the Premier League. Ruben Neves has been at Wolves since 2017. Wolves got Neves from Porto. They paid 15.8 million. Neves has got a contract with Wolves until 2024 and he's played 170 games in the Premier League for Wolves. There's been a lot of narratives coming out about Boubacar Kamara from Marseille. Now, Manchester United have held talks with Boubacar Kamara's agents. He says from Marseille that Manchester United are leading the race for Kamara. Boubacar Kamara's most likely destination is the Premier League. Marseille want just £10 million for Kamara. Kamara wants in the region of £150,000 a week if he is to depart Marseille this month. Boubacar Kamara's out of contract at Marseille at the end of the season. He's only the age of 22, is predominantly a centre defensive midfielder, but he can be deployed as a centre back. Boubacar Kamara has been a very long-serving player at Marseille. He's been with them for 17 years. He joined Marseille's academy back in 2005. And since he broke into Marseille's senior squad, he's made over 100 appearances. Man United have been linked with Amadou Haidara in this January transfer window. Rangnick knows the player well, which is beneficial. And revert back to earlier on this season, Rangnick said that he wanted Amadou Haidara as his first signing as Man United manager. Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham have been long-term targets for Man United. Like I updated you yesterday, it said Manchester United could lose 15 players to free contracts over the next 18 months. And Rangnick is willing to let 4 players leave following the emergence of Anthony Elanga. Now, Ralph Rangnick, he's been Manchester United's interim manager for almost 2 months now. Rangnick has 5 wins from 8 league games so far, and he's only lost 1 game so far. Rangnick has managed 10 games in all competitions, and he's progressed Manchester United to the FA Cup 4th round. Now, it said earlier on this week that Man United have put their search for a new manager on hold after being impressed by Ralph Rangnick since he took charge in December. Manchester United are considering offering Rangnick the job on a permanent basis. Rangnick will receive a £500,000 bonus if he leads Manchester United to a top 4 finish. Rangnick earns £180,000 a week. Reflecting on the win against West Ham the other week, that moved Manchester United into the top 4. Rangnick is Man United's interim manager until the end of this season. Then it did initially say that Rangnick would continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. Rangnick's no longer under pressure, but revert back to earlier on this season, he said, Ralph Rangnick was under pressure, and it said he was losing the dressing room at Man United already, and it said 17 Manchester United players were unhappy and wanted to leave. Excuse me. Don't forget, Manchester United changed formation under Ralph Rangnick, Manchester United's new formation is the 4-3-3 formation. That formation seems to suit our standards under Rangnick. Obviously, Rangnick scrapped the 4-2-2 formation because quite clearly that formation wasn't working. And credit to Rangnick as well, he has made changes since he's come in. Obviously, earlier on this season, he recommended Ewan Sharp in as an assistant coach and analyst. He brought Chris Armas in as an assistant coach, and he brought Saz Chalens in as a sports psychologist. Before Man United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. I'm hoping he can win a trophy at Manchester United this season. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Was it a couple of weeks ago now? It said Ralph Rangnick wants Erik ten Hag to become Manchester United's new manager. And I presume there's a lot of Manchester United fans that would like to see Erik ten Hag get recommended in. You've got to admire the work that Erik ten Hag has done at Ajax. He's won a couple of titles with them. Revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals, and I like the way he develops young players. He's been Ajax manager for around 5 years. Erik ten Hag got appointed in as the Ajax manager back in 2017. His contract at Ajax expires next year. Ajax is the 4th club that Erik ten Hag is managing in his managerial career. Before Ajax, he managed Utrecht. Before then, he managed Bayern Munich's reserves. And before then, he managed Go Ahead Eagles. Mauricio Pochettino, he's been relentlessly linked with the permanent role at Man United. Hearing that Brendan Rodgers is on Manchester United's shortlist as well. Manchester United have sat 4 permanent managers since Ferguson retired. Manchester United sat David Moyes after 10 months, then Manchester United sat Louis van Gaal after 2 years. Despite us winning the FA Cup under him, then Manchester United sat Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. Mourinho enjoyed one good season at Man United because he won 3 trophies in his first season. But the reasons, like I said before, it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, because the board didn't recommend the players he wanted in, and he had bad disputes with the top players. Don't like Mourinho anyway, he's always been arrogant. And last year, Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after almost 3 years in charge. Solskjaer's final game in charge of Manchester United was the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Nothing much has changed at Manchester United, even though we've sacked 4 managers since Ferguson retired. Manchester United have not been the same team since Ferguson retired. And we've got to accept that no one's going to replicate what Sir Alex did at the club. Ferguson is the greatest manager of all time. Alex Ferguson brought success to Manchester United. He won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Alex Ferguson was at Manchester United for 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a very long-serving manager. The only mistake Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in when he retired, but the reasons he did that is because they're both Scottish, and Ferguson had a lot of time for Moyes. Manchester United have not won the Premier League since 2013, so that's 9 years ago now. But Man United have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. But since Fergie retired, Man United have spent around 1.2 billion and we have brought over 40 players in since Ferguson retired. Moyes, he obviously brought just 2 players in. That was Mata and Fellaini. Louis van Gaal, I think he brought around, was it 14, 15 players in. Mourinho recommended 11 players in. And obviously when Solskjaer was United manager, he signed around 14 players. Man United spent over 400 million under Solskjaer. And there's only 2 here from the Ferguson era, that's Jones and De Gea. Let me put into the equation that none of this squad is Rangnick's. You know, he is inheriting players who other managers have brought in. Woodward, he's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. The good news is from Man United perspective that Woodward is stepping down at Manchester United at the end of this month. Ed Woodward's had a 17-year association at the football club. We revert back to April last year. It actually got announced that Woodward was leaving when that European Super League came into the equation. The Glazers, they've also been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. The Glazers have owned Manchester United for around 16.5 years now. They bought the club for 500 million back in 2005. Revert back to April of last year. Manchester United fans protested against the Glazers at the Carrington training ground and at Old Trafford because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. And Ronaldo, I have been talking with you a lot about him recently. Reports from Spain have said that Cristiano Ronaldo wants Real Madrid return. Don't forget, before Ronaldo endured like 9.5 years at Real Madrid. That was before he went to Juventus. Ronaldo's already asked his agent Jorge Mendes to find him another club because quite clearly Ronaldo is unhappy at Manchester United. Well, he's already said anyway that Ronaldo will leave Man United in the summer if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Ronaldo faces a 25% pay cut should Manchester United fail to qualify for the Champions League. Ronaldo did play against West Ham the other week. He did well, to be fair. He could have won a penalty in the first half and he played a part in Marcus Rashford's winning goal. But prior to the game against West Ham, Ronaldo was a doubt because he picked up a neck injury, but obviously he recovered from the neck injury. Ronaldo's endured a few injuries since he re-signed for the club. Don't forget, Ronaldo was furious for being substituted against Brentford, but Rangnick came out and defended his decision to substitute Ronaldo against Brentford. Couple of weeks ago now, Ronaldo gave an interview and he was very critical of the youngsters. And, he's demanding more from the youngsters. And Ronaldo said that, Rangnick will do a good job at Man United. And he said, I'm not at Man United to compete for 6th or 7th. He said, finishing below 3rd is unacceptable. So that's what he said. Manchester United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million with add-ons included. Ronaldo wears the number 7 shirt and he's under contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of another year and Ronaldo receives £480,000 a week. So reflecting on that, he's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. And since Ronaldo re-signed, he's scored 14 goals in all competitions. He's got over 800 goals in his career. Best player in the world overall. He has won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Manchester United, his next game is Middlesbrough in the FA Cup 4th round. It is next Friday, the 4th of February. It is at Old Trafford. Manchester United will be going into the game having won their last 2 games. I'm expecting Ralph Rangnick to rotate for the game against Middlesbrough in the Cup. Manchester United progressed to the fourth round of the FA Cup by beating Aston Villa 1-0 in the third round. Middlesbrough, they progressed to the fourth round of the FA Cup by beating Mansfield in the third round. The last time Manchester United played Middlesbrough was back in March 2017. Man United won that game 3-1. Middlesbrough, of course, are in the Championship. Their manager is Chris Wilder. Middlesbrough appointed him in last year. To replace Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock got sacked by Middlesbrough last year. Chris Wilder's managed quite a few clubs in his managerial career so far. He's managing Middlesbrough now. Before Middlesbrough, he managed Sheffield United. I remember when he was in the Premier League with Sheffield United. Before then, he managed Northampton. Before, he's managed Oxford. Before then, he managed Halifax. And before, he managed Alfred Town. And I think at one point, Chris Wilder was the Bury assistant. I do know quite a few of the players that Middlesbrough have got. Obviously, they do have Josh Coburn, he's a forward. They've got Isaiah Jones, he's a forward. They've got Aaron Connolly, he's an attacking player. They've got Andras Sporer, he's an attacking player. They've got Johnny Howson, think he's a midfielder. They've got Riley McGree, Paddy McNair, Neil Taylor, Matt Crooks, Marcus Brown. I think he's out with injury. They've got Mark Bolly, he's out with injury. So there are quite a few of the players that Middlesbrough do have. But I am expecting Manchester United to get to the fifth round of the FA Cup. And Manchester United's next league game is Burnley. That's on the 8th. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.